The Canadian Forces at the CNE.
Chris, can you give us a wave?
Connection cell. I'm here on site with the Canadian Forces display at the Canadian National Exhibition. So we're on site here at the Canadian Forces display, showing off what we have within the Canadian Forces, representing the Canadian Army, the Royal Canadian Air Force, the Royal Canadian Navy, and even the Canadian Rangers on site. We are here to interact with all Canadians on site and just convey what we do within the Canadian Forces itself. So we've had a lot of people come through the Canadian Forces display, interacting with the soldiers and sailors and airmen that we have on site, asking about what we do, and they are very receptive and very happy to see us here. The interaction is very involved, and the soldiers that we have on site are able to convey what their skills are and their experiences to everyone that comes through.
I'm with 25 Field Ambulance. We're located here in Toronto at Moss Park Armory. And are there any things you'd like to know about our medical mannequin here? This is what we use for practice. We've had him out in the field many times. We also have a computerized medical mannequin back at our unit, which we don't take out in the field since he is quite a bit more expensive than this one. But this one still allows us to insert airways, to start up IVs in the IV pad. And right now we've removed his lower leg to simulate an amputation. And we've got a combat application tourniquet on it. And we have an IV started.
So this is one of many interactive displays that we have on site with the Canadian Forces display. Here we have the command post, where our signals corps is running this particular display, which has a lot of interactive parts for all people to come through and see.
What we have today shown here is what we're going to call battle view, where the commander works out here, have a real-time movement of his troops. Also in the command post we have RF comms gear, which stands for radio frequency.
Once again, this is one of many interactive displays that we do have on site. So over here, what we have is what we call the Light Utility Vehicle Wheeled, or the G-Wagon. It is a armored reconnaissance vehicle as well as a utility vehicle that we use to transport personnel back and forth within both the battlefield and within base itself. Hi, so behind me I have a C2 Leopard Tank, another popular display within the Canadian Forces site. It's manned by a crew from the Royal Canadian Dragoons, and they're able to speak to the capabilities of the tank. So here we have the Navy bus. It shows the various trades that we have within the Royal Canadian Navy. These interactive screens allow you to see various trades within the Navy itself, as well as the training that's involved. Another one of the interactive displays we have on the Canadian Forces site. Behind me, another popular display within the Canadian Forces site, a CF18 mock-up. We have the cockpit behind me, where people can come in, sit down in the cockpit, and see what it's like to be a pilot within a CF18. So up here we have the observation post, very similar to what we use overseas in Afghanistan, as well as in other areas that we have bases set up. This observation post, you can come up and get to see what it's like both inside as well as some of the devices that we typically use within. Hey. Okay, so behind me we have what we call the Clothe the Soldier stand, and you get to see the various pieces of equipment that soldiers within the Canadian Forces use, both in a domestic and operational environment. We have two sides where we have weighted equipment and non-weighted equipment for those who feel like lifting and carrying what we typically use, or for those who choose not to carry the heavy objects. So I'm at the base of the High Line. Now the High Line is 200 meters of rope that we have set up between Direct Energy Building and the Canadian Forces display. We have two people go down. The first person that goes down the High Line goes down halfway, and then once they hit the halfway point, they will rappel down to the street. For the second time, we have someone special going down the High Line to the very base. A very good show. I highly recommend it.
Next soldier, ready to go? Coming down the High Line next is someone who is well known and loved by all of us. He has bravely tackled this line in the past and is back with us to do it again for all of you here at the CNE. He's here all the way from the North Pole. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please give a warm round of applause for the official mascot of the Canadian Army. It's Judah the Bear! Judah, give us away, buddy! Now, sometimes Judah gets a little shy about all the attention, so we may need to give him some encouragement. Are you ready to join us? Well, it looks like he's a little bit too scared to leave the platform. Let's see if we can get some applause going and get him down. We know we can do it. Judah, it's okay, buddy. We know you can do it. We just want to see you. Just one step. Oh, there you go. All right, buddy. 1, 2, 3. Look at him go, folks. Please give the highly skilled and very brave Judah a warm round of applause. He will be.
Hi, I'm Captain Lee with the Canadian Forces over here at the Canadian Forces display at the Canadian National Exhibition. I'd like to thank Al-Jaliyah Media for taking this opportunity to conduct this interview and visiting our site. Thank you very much.
We would like to say thanks to Captain Lee and his fellow soldiers for their time and effort. Al-Jaliyah Media.